Welcome back to Nature's Corner. My name is Erin Shaw. I'm a park naturalist with Ohio Department of Natural Resources. On today's show, we have Mandy Wolski, who's also a park naturalist. We're here at Cowan Lake, and we're going to be talking about monarchs and the new designation that you have, the new accomplishment.
Yes.
So tell us what we have here behind us.
So here at Cowan, we have worked with Monarch City, USA to designate the park as a monarch sanctuary here in Southwest Ohio. We are the first park in Ohio to receive this designation and only the second park in the nation. So it's pretty exciting for us here.
How long did it take you to get that?
It was within weeks of applying that we got the approval, but it took another couple months to make it on the website and get everything official.
Okay, so what did you have to do for it?
For the designation, we basically had to pledge that as a park, we would provide habitat for the monarchs, plant native plants that provide nectar, and have some type of educational classes about monarchs, which we do every June with our pollination celebration.
That's cool. So today, will you give us a little example of programs that you do?
Oh yes, we can definitely do that.
Okay. So do you do programs here at your garden?
We do. So here at the garden, we when we're teaching about pollinators, we have butterfly nets, and kids can catch the butterfly nets and catch butterflies with the nets, and they can also catch the bees, and we let the kids get up close and really look at the things that maybe even scare them. So then we also have a display inside the naturalist cabin during the right seasons for the butterflies to show the caterpillars as they grow up. And kids and adults too really love it, to watch them as they're eating their milkweed and shedding their skin and turning into butterflies. It's pretty special to watch.
So by displays, you mean like live butterflies?
Live butterflies and live caterpillars, and we even sometimes have the eggs to see.
Wow. So if I was going to start a butterfly garden at my house, such as this, and it's a nice size, you know, it's small, it's maintainable. So how did you get this started?
So this one is actually a project. Roxanne Luff, one of our volunteers here, she is a master gardener, and she did this as her master gardener project. So all of the plants that you see in here was part of her certifying as a master gardener. So she started with items like purple coneflower, black-eyed Susan, goldenrods, asters, and of course milkweed for the monarchs.
Did she plant them as seeds or small plants?
I think some of these were started as seeds and some were just started as maybe 3-inch plants to even a foot tall plant.
Okay, because I noticed you have some plants back here on the picnic table.
Oh, our picnic table. That's part of our native plant initiative that I was talking about, where we are taking out plants in some of our gardens, like annuals that we have to replant every year, and replacing them with our native species that come back on their own, so they'll be perennials. And those were started from seed here at Cowan.
Very cool. So as I'm learning about plants, I've learned that perennials, yes, they bloom year after year, but there's a season where they kind of just look like weeds. You know, they're not always blooming like a annual. So,
yes.
But there's definite benefits to the natives.
That's a good point, because when you have the natives, you'll have some that bloom in early spring, some that bloom all summer, and then some that bloom in fall. So your garden can be in bloom all year with these perennials, but it's not always going to be the same color or the same flower.
That's cool. So I see we have some asters blooming back here.
We do. Asters are in bloom now. They're an important nectar source for the monarchs as they are migrating to Mexico. Behind me I have New England aster, which is the bright purple with a yellow center. Our goldenrod is just finishing up, but that is a wide spray of bright yellow, and it looks like all my purple coneflower have gone to seed.
Okay, so tell me more about your designation. You're the first state park
In Ohio.
in Ohio.
So we have 6 Monarch City USAs here in Ohio. Almost all of them are up north except us. So we have areas like Sandusky and Port Clinton are Monarch City USAs, but we are the first Monarch City USA with the designation of a Monarch Park, because Cowan's not a city. The only other park that is currently designated in the nation is in South Dakota. So we were second in the nation, first in Ohio.
Wow, that's so cool.
It's very exciting.
Yeah. So are they encouraging other parks to make stations or
Yes.
designations?
Yes, we are. I am hopeful that a couple other of our parks will get the designation in the future.
Yeah. So I guess could we call you if we have questions?
Definitely, you can call me. I've already had a couple people contact me on how to get their city started, and anything that prolongs the butterflies staying with us.
Yeah.
Because they are in peril. We're starting to lose our monarchs. So anything we can do to help, even if it's just planting a small garden like this one, is important.
Absolutely. So the programs that you have are really, really fascinating. And the fact that you actually one hatched out on the show today, or emerged, is that the correct term?
So the scientific term is eclose.
Oh, eclose.
But emerge is a lot easier to remember. Scientists like big words.
So we'll talk more about that at the commissary, the actual life cycle.
Yes.
Yeah, so before we leave this spot here, what are some more things you would like to point out? I really love the cutouts that you have in the back.
Yes, our cutouts were done by one of our volunteers. Everything you see painted here at the Naturalist Cabin was done by Carol Hadley, and she has done a bald eagle for us. We have the bumblebee, the Luna moth, the monarch, and she's also done a couple murals for the park, which are really special. These cutouts are designed so that you can stand in front of them and it looks like you have wings.
Ah, so are kids and families welcome to come here anytime?
Yes, and family is what they were thinking about when they designed these cutouts, because we have the small one for the little kids.
Oh, I see.
And we have the monarch, which fits people like you and me, and then the big tall men, really tall women and men, they can be the Luna moth.
Ah, that's so cool. They're really, really beautiful. This is a really neat space here, Mandy. Great learning opportunity.
Thanks,
And
Darren.
yeah, it's really helpful for the environment, you know, and I think it's a lot of people are curious right now on how to do that. I like that it's a small space.
It doesn't have to be large to help the butterflies or the bees.
Yeah, because when I first learned that you had become the first Monarch Park, you know, I thought there was going to be this big thing that, you know, undoable for me, but this is really cool, and I think something that families can do at home. Can families do this, or is it mostly
Oh, definitely. Matter of fact, this winter we are doing a program where you bring a milk jug, and we are going to build a butterfly garden in that milk jug that you will grow over winter and be able to plant at home in the spring.
So can families get the Monarch Park USA or Monarch City, or is it more for organizations?
It's more for bigger areas, nature preserves, cities, villages, but there are things you can do in your yard for the monarchs. You can have your garden designated as a monarch way station.
Okay.
So to have a monarch way station, which kids and families can do at home, you need to have native plants, and some of those native plants need to be milkweed, which is what the monarch eats when it's a caterpillar, and you should not be using any type of pesticides in that garden. And it doesn't have to be huge, it can be very small, and then you just apply for the way station.
So you can look up Monarch Way Station online, and
Oh yeah,
it will show you the steps.
It's very simple.
Very cool. So is milkweed, that's the exclusive thing that the caterpillars eat?
Yes.
But there's different kinds.
There are different kinds. There are 17 different species of milkweed native to Ohio. The monarchs will eat 13 of those 17 species.
Wow. And so the other plants that you have here are special for bees and all sorts of other butterflies. I'm excited to go talk about the life cycle.
The life cycle. So ironweed that is in here, there is a bee that only collects pollen from ironweed. So he's an ironweed specialist. The purple coneflower is a host to another caterpillar, the silver-spotted skipper.
Oh, cool.
So anything in here is a nectar source for our pollinators, but some of them are also host plants for those caterpillars.
Wow. So how long does it take? This is my last question.
Okay.
How long does it take to I mean, do you start from seed? Do you have to go buy a plant?
So for a garden to start, you can do it in two ways. You can buy the plants at a store and get it done right away. Or you can start it from seed all on your own. And that's a learning experience in itself especially for young kids to see how plants grow.
Yeah.
And a good garden like this one's been here for quite a few years, so it's really full. But when you see the new garden at the commissary, it's not going to look like this. It's just a new start.
Okay. And then as they grow, do you collect the seeds and replant them?
Yes, we do. We have a huge seed collection. And our volunteers and our park visitors and some other organizations have helped us get those seeds to be able to do more natives in the park.
Wow. So this is a real seasonal topic because they're all going to seed right now. I told you this was my last question 2 questions ago. So if I was to take some seeds here, what do I do? Like, how do you?
So you would want bare ground, so no grass. Mm-hmm. And then you would spread the seeds on top of the dirt and stomp the seeds into the ground, and they will come up next spring. You would want to do that in November, though, because they need to be cold and freeze over winter to be able to grow in spring.
Okay. I got it. Yep. Because the seeds need to stratify and
yes.
break out of their case.
It's called cold stratification.
Yes. Very good. All right. So I'm excited to go see the station that you're talking about at the commissary and talk about their life cycles.
And play with the caterpillars.
Yes.
Get our hands on the caterpillars.
So we're here at the commissary.
Yes.
And this is a new garden behind us, you said?
It is brand new
Okay.
this year. So we have a group of volunteers here that love to garden. And one of the ideas was to get in another pollinator garden like what is at where we just were. So we started with different plants in here. We've got a couple spice bushes, which would be a host to our spice bush swallowtail butterfly. And we had some milkweed and some prairie bundle flowers, some violets that you probably have in your yard and don't know that you do have a native plant.
I put them in my salad.
You do put them in your salad. They are edible. They're yummy. And some coreopsis and some bee balm and spiderwort. So it's a really neat garden. And we were so proud of ourselves just for getting it done. You know, there's just 3 of us right now working on gardens, which we could always use help. Within, I would say, about a month, I came down here and just to check the garden, pull a couple weeds, and I found 22 monarch eggs on the milkweed.
Wow.
It was only here for a month. So, of course, I had to send out a text to all my gardeners. It worked. We succeeded. Through the next couple weeks, we watched the caterpillars grow up here at the commissary. We had visitors and kids just like, whoa, you know, you never see them. You don't see them as much as you should.
Well, the eggs especially.
The eggs are so tiny. So from those 22 eggs, we found 3 chrysalis here at the commissary.
Wow.
And the one that came out on the show today was raised here in this garden. So that was just good luck that he came out today.
That's so cool. You planned that pretty good.
I did. I timed that perfectly.
So how big were the plants when you put them in here?
We had 3 milkweed plants that were at least a couple years old and 5 tiny little milkweeds that were we grew over winter here at the park, and they were only about 4 inches tall.
Okay.
So the big ones and the little ones got devoured. But the monarchs, they grew up. So that's what that plant is for.
So when we were up there, you said there's how many species of milkweed?
17 different native species to Ohio, and the Monarch will eat 13 of those species.
Okay, so there's a native species and they're not invasive, are they? Non-native? The ones that you buy at the store?
So we don't have any that are invasive yet. Stores are selling tropical milkweed, and many people believe the seeds won't overwinter because it's a tropical plant, but they do, and they spread really quick. The roots will die, but the seeds will survive. So when you go to the store, you want to look for things like butterfly weed, common milkweed, world milkweed, and you can go on the Division of Wildlife's education page, and there will be a pamphlet called Milkweeds and Monarchs that will give you all the right species to plant in Ohio.
One's a vine, isn't it?
It is honey vine. That's one of the species we have here at Cowan. So honey vine it even has a different genus name than the rest of the milkweed. So it is very similar to the potato vine that people get and they yank it out of their garden. But funny story, my cousin did not know, and she found a chrysalis at her house and it became a butterfly the other day, and we figured it out. It was honey vine in her yard that she didn't know she had. So it's pretty special.
That is cool. Okay, so you found the egg.
Yes.
How many?
22.
22. And they just look like are they smaller than rice, like grains of rice?
Yeah, even smaller, like half the size of a grain of rice. And they're little tiny white, and they have a little point on the top. And they are in that egg for about 3 to 5 days.
Okay, that's not very long.
Not very long. So they're going to come out of that egg, and the first food source they have is that egg. They eat it, and it's yummy for them. So the egg is on the milkweed, so when they come out, they also have that milkweed readily available. Now, Erin, I have something for you. I have a tiny one on here somewhere, but I want you to see our Monarch caterpillar. So when he came out of his egg, it takes about 10 to 15 days to get this big.
Wow. Which is not very long, actually.
It is not a long time.
They grow fast. What's the book? The Hungry Caterpillar?
The Very Hungry Caterpillar, yes. So here is one that is not quite as old.
Oh, he's cute. Oh, he's tiny. Wow. So they have antennas on both ends.
Almost. They do look like antennas, but they're called feelers. Oh. Their antennas are down by their mouths.
Okay.
So these feelers, when a predator or another caterpillar comes along, they can sense it with their feelers.
Okay.
But it is on both ends, you're right.
Wow. So I guess you can tell if you have caterpillars. I always look for the chewed marks on the leaves.
Yeah, so the little tiny ones, they're gonna eat just like a little half circle in your leaf. But as they get a little bit bigger, they're gonna eat a bigger hole. And then these guys, these big ones like the one you're holding, they will eat the entire leaf and won't leave any of it.
Oh, he tickles. So you get caterpillars in the spring or in the fall?
Both. So my first set of eggs here in Ohio were laid on May 18th in my yard. So that is when the monarchs first arrived back here in Ohio on their journey north to get to us during the spring. Then we have multiple generations through the summer. This generation that we have here, born out of their eggs in August and September, they're called the super generation. And the reason we call them that is because when they come out of chrysalis and they turn into a butterfly, they're the ones that are going to fly all the way to Mexico from here.
Wow. So they're caterpillars, this is a tiny little baby one.
He is tiny.
So they're still hatching.
So when they hatch out of their egg, I see. They are still hatching. So we do have some eggs that are still being laid right now, but their chances of having enough milkweed at this point in the year and enough nectar sources to make them strong enough to fly to Mexico are pretty slim.
I see. Okay.
But these ones should make it. Matter of fact, I'm going to find out if they make it. So once they become butterflies and their wings are dry, I have a little sticker that I can put on the butterfly. And it's a tag from Monarch Watch. And it has a little tracking number on it.
Will you open it?
Yeah, let's open it and get a really good look.
Cool.
So unfortunately, these monarchs did not make it, but I kept them for educational reasons so that you can see this is a super generation monarch. He's got really long wing. And this one would not have made it to Mexico. They're set up a little differently, but his wing was very short. So this would have been an earlier generation, and this would be the generation that goes to Mexico. But when those tags make it to Mexico, or if somebody finds one in their yard with a tag, they can report it to Monarch Watch just through their website. And if we tagged them here at Cowan, we would know where they ended up.
That's really neat. So if I find a dead butterfly, it's worth going up to inspect.
Yes, it is. Definitely. It is definitely worth it because you never know if somebody spent the time to put a tag on it.
Yeah. Okay, so from this stage to this stage,
he is ready. The next time he sheds his skin, he will become a chrysalis. Now, I saw something on the bottom of one of these leaves that we should take a look at. So hold that out. We'll work together to be able to see it.
Yeah, I see it.
So this big guy, kind of like the one you're holding in your hand, he is in what is called J position. So he's getting ready to shed his skin and become a chrysalis.
So he'll just hang out in a J?
For a couple days.
Huh.
And then once his skin starts to split, he will be a chrysalis within 6 minutes.
Wow. That's incredible.
So once they hit that chrysalis stage, it is another 10 to 15 days before they come out and emerge as a butterfly.
Wow.
Did he take off on you?
Oh.
He's looking for milkweed. Aaron doesn't taste like milkweed.
So they don't bite, do they?
They don't bite, but you can feel when I pick him up, he does leave behind some silk.
Oh, I see that.
You have silk now on your hands.
Oh, nice.
And that silk helps him, kind of like a spider web, to stick to the things he's crawling on.
So it was really neat to see the one emerge earlier.
Yes, it was perfect timing. Sorry it didn't happen while we were like ready to film.
We got it though.
We did, we got it. And that one was a boy.
Okay.
I believe it was a boy.
So you could tell that by the spots.
Yeah, on the wings. This one is dried in a different position, but down here on the back of the wing is a small little black dot, and that is a pheromone sac that only the males have. So the females, I can't open it.
Yeah.
The females don't have that additional dot on their hind wings.
Okay.
So that's how you can tell male from female.
Wow. It's really neat, Mandy. I feel like I can go home and plant a monarch garden and make it a way station, and maybe even a Monarch Park USA.
You could get your city to turn into Monarch City USA.
Yeah.
That would be really neat to have another one down here in Southwest Ohio.
Oh, there you go, Lebanon.
Yeah, we can make Lebanon one.
Absolutely.
There's quite a few parks already that have monarch gardens and milkweed in them in the Lebanon parks.
Yeah.
So we could really make that happen.
Really cool.
Erin, there's a monarch flying by the Lebanon truck right now.
Well, thank you so much, Mandy. I've really learned a lot today. Was there anything else that we forgot to mention or that you want to add?
Well, I guess I should mention that the reason I'm able to do all of this is because here at Cowan we have a nonprofit called the Friends Caring for Cowan, and that's where our volunteers come from to help build the gardens, and some of them even donate plants and go on trips to find native plants at different stores, and that really helps us out. So they collect donations as well from their Facebook page and from their website. And all of the money they collect goes back into the park for things like habitat or our new fishing pond, youth fishing pond, and the new enclosure for our owl and kestrel. So they do a lot of good here, and having 22 monarch eggs grow up in a garden that they helped build and design, that's just very rewarding for them.
Absolutely. So I truly believe volunteers make the world a better place.
I do too.
I do too. So thank you, Cowan volunteers, and anywhere you go, actually. And even planting these at home, you know, is helpful for the environment. So thank you so much. I've really learned a lot today.
I'm glad I could share them with you.
So that's it for today's show. Thank you for watching. If you'd like more information, you can go on our website at ohiostateparks.org, or you can stop by the Nature Center and check us out.